Hello everyone. Today we will discuss about the probable / possible questions that are expected in the upcoming DNB exam, which is going to be conducted in March end, isn't it so? Alright, so let's get into the topic. So without missing, please try to cover the past 3 years question papers. If not 5 years, at least 3 years is a must. Alright, because recent advances paper has been included and many new things are coming up. So see which areas are being concentrated there. Then read from IAP guidelines and updates. There is a specific web page in Indian Academy of Pediatrics dedicated to just recommendations and updates. So refer to that. And apart from that, rest of the updates that will be coming up are NRP, neonatal resuscitation program, changes that are going to be made this coming year in the textbook. Septic shock guideline has been updated. And then pediatric nephrology, Indian Society has given out newer definitions and guidelines for management of nephrotic syndrome. COVID, definite question. At least 1 or 2 will come this year. Give more importance to diagnostics and MIS-C, multi-system inflammatory disorder. Then telemedicine, immunization update. As a whole, they can ask about what are the changes in the recommendations for vaccination or specific vaccines. PCV10 can be asked, rabies can be asked, influenza, COVID vaccines that are coming up can be asked. Especially they can ask specific names also, I guess, Covaxin or Covishield, we don't know. The other guidelines are school reopening, hemolytic uremic syndrome, umbilical cord banking, human milk banking, constipation, Gaucher's disease, POXO, end of life care, vitamin D or a modification of vitamin D can be asked, like what is vitamin D in life and health, then in rickets how do you manage giving vitamin D, or vitamin D resistant rickets, vitamin D dependent rickets. So vitamin D, be thorough. One way or the other they modify and ask questions, and it's also important for your OSCEs. Hearing screen, ROP screen, very important. And similarly, learning disability, ADHD, autism spectrum disorder, newer guidelines are there in the recommendation website. Please go through them. Infections wise, rickettsial new guidelines are present, and diabetes guidelines was updated in 2017, I think, by Indian Society of Pediatric and Adolescent Endocrinology. So these guidelines, be thorough. Most of the things we have discussed, rest I will try to cover in the next few days. Then once you are done with the IAP recommendations, statistics, please go through statistics. I am stressing this again and again for DNB exam. Alright, because MDDCH exams varies from state to state. Few states might give more importance to these statistics questions, few states might not. But DNB wise, every year at least 10 to 20 marks is dedicated to this statistics alone. Alright, so please go through them thoroughly. There are hardly 10-15 questions in them. Right, the most important questions: sensitivity, specificity, positive predictive, negative predictive value, then confidence interval can be asked, then they can ask forest plot, right? I think that was asked the previous year or the year before that. Since forest plot is asked, remember that they can also ask something like a box plot analysis or a Kaplan-Meier analysis. I think I will have to teach you guys those. So those can be asked. Alright, meta-analysis, systematic review, what's a cohort study, what's a case control study. These are the common questions that can be asked in a statistics, and you should know about them also. Next, IJPP, Indian Journal of Practical Pediatrics, 2020 and 2019. So total 8 issues will be there, and all of them are review articles. So if you read one, each of them can be asked as a question, and they have been asked as a question previously. So you should go through that and give importance to initial topics in every system. In the sense, I am not talking about the individual disorders. Like for example, in a cardiovascular system, I am not talking about VSD, ASD, PDA. If you actually go through the questions, you will note that questions are approach to something, or diagnostics or management. Alright, so cardiac catheterization was asked. It's not exactly a specific disorder, right? So most of the systems in Nelson at least start with diagnostics, and repeatedly questions have been asked in diagnostics, so give importance to that. So this is the overview of what you need to cover. Let me go into individual systems. All right. So, individual systems, let's see one by one. Hematology. So, I think basically iron deficiency, thalassemia and B12 anemia is very important for you to know. Okay. So, they can be modified and asked in any way. They can ask approach to microcytic hypochromic anemia, approach to a megaloblastic anemia, or a child who is not responding to iron in a microcytic anemia. What will be your next step in management? Prenatal diagnosis and treatment, especially in thalassemia, be sure to know that chelation therapy you should know. When are you planning to do splenectomy, you should know, and splenectomy before vaccines and post prophylaxis antibiotics you should know. Approach to bone marrow failure, pancytopenia, hemophilia, again read prophylaxis, that is important. Alright, we have discussed the prophylaxis once, so go through that again, this might be repeated. Alright, sickle cell disease, sickle cell crisis can be asked especially. Transfusion, one of them is a sure shot to come in your exams, either PRBC, FFP, platelets or cryoprecipitates. Malignancy wise, CML or ALL in hematological malignancies. CML I have put here specifically because in one of the papers they have given a small review for pediatric CML, so it could be asked. HLH, ITP or approach to thrombocytopenia, DIC, hypersplenism and splenectomy. These are all the important questions as far as hematology is concerned. If time permits, please go through G6PD and hereditary spherocytosis also. Those are standard questions. Neurology, there is a specific issue completely on neurology in IJPP. I suggest you go through that first if you are going to do system wise preparation for your exam. Right. So, TB meningitis, TB diagnosis, TB treatment, in one or other form it can come out as a question for TB, and tuberculoma versus NCC can be asked as a question. With syndrome, newer guidelines have been released, so that can be asked. Then global developmental delay approach, other approaches are approach to a child who is coming with status epilepticus, approach to a child who is coming with coma, approach to a child who is coming with ataxia, floppy baby, stroke. Alright, so these are all, how to tell, questions that are approach based questions in your neurology. Diagnosis based questions are your SMA, spinomuscular atrophy, Duchenne muscular dystrophy. So, I am giving importance to these because newer modalities of treatment are coming up for these disorders. So, it is important for you to know the names of the treatment and where it is being applied. Acute flaccid paralysis, don't forget this is important. So, include those in the approach. Autoimmune encephalitis, yes. Absent seizures, yes. Encephalopathy with electrical status epilepticus of sleep. I put this specifically because the name looked very catchy for one. Plus, this is something that you see in your ICUs, right? A baby who is encephalopathic and you are not knowing whether it is metabolic problem or the baby is having clinically silent seizures resulting in this encephalopathy. So, a nice approach is given in Indian Journal of Pediatrics 2020 December. So, please go through that. Status epilepticus la standard questions. Traumatic brain injury. Adoption, I don't know why I wrote this here. Please remember, I prepared this late at night yesterday, so I may not have been in the best of classification modality. Alright, fine. So, I am sorry for that, but adoption, please note it in your social pediatrics. So, yes, that can be asked. And now that I think about it, I have not included the social pediatrics questions in this. Okay, maybe I'll put it up in the Telegram group for that. I am sorry, I missed that out. Alright, adoption important. Hydrocephalus, they may ask directly as hydrocephalus or indirectly as CSF production and circulation. Okay, so read that also. Seizure mimic is important, febrile convulsion, and rest are, that's it. I think if you read this much of neurology, this is in itself is extensive. Alright, next coming to nutrition. Nutrition wise, more and more questions are being asked on obesity rather than actual SAM and SAM management, right? More like how to tell, social pediatrics and nutrition combination sort of questions are being asked. So, nutrition gap, nutrition and immunity importance. This nutrition gap was discussed as a white paper in Indian Journal of Practical Pediatrics, I think last edition or the last before edition. Alright, so if somebody has the hard copy of it, please share a picture in our Telegram group so that other students who are going to exams can benefit. It was authored by Dr. Elizabeth. Junk food can be asked. Double malnutrition is where you have both under and over nutrition. A patient can be obese but still deficient in micronutrients, so that is considered as a double malnutrition. Vitamin D, all about it you should know. Vitamin A and K, read up and keep. And minerals wise, calcium, magnesium, iron and zinc you should know, because all these four they keep repeating on and off, so please note that. Growth wise, a basic question like growth chart can be asked as such. Alright, so know what are standard growth charts, reference growth charts, WHO growth chart, IAP growth chart. Then for newborn you have WHO growth chart. You can apply your for preterm Fenton's growth chart. There is a new intergrowth growth chart, right? So there are multiple growth charts that are available, each with its own advantages and disadvantages, so you should know about that. Approach to short stature already discussed. Approach to tall stature is given in Nelson nicely, so go through that. Developmental screening is important. Obstructive sleep apnea, that's something that can come up anytime, alright, because that topic is being discussed more and more frequently nowadays. Development, they can ask just language and social development as a single question, 10-mark question per se. Or if they want to break it up, they can ask about pica, tics, suicide, anorexia, lying, stealing, truancy. There is a separate chapter about it in Nelson. Then learning disability, there is a new guideline in IAP. Adolescence wise, not much. Maybe they can ask about puberty, physiology of puberty. Those things can be asked in adolescence. SMR can be asked. Alright, next coming to critical care. Critical care and neonatology, see, those are topics that I am slightly more partial to compared to rest of the topics. So yeah, I might have included more questions, but bear with me here. A basic question in critical care can be something like arterial airway arterial oxygen diffusion gradient, alveolar arterial oxygen diffusion gradient can be asked. Hemoglobin oxygen diffusion curve can be asked. ABG, intracranial pressure, arterial waveform, something that you monitor basically, so that can be asked. Or high frequency ventilation can be asked. A CPAP can be asked, or a HHFNC can be asked in a neonatology setting, ventilator based. Then button battery ingestion, snake and scorpion bite, paracetamol, OP, kerosene poisoning. These three at least minimum you should know in poisoning. Okay, so there is no excuse if you do not know these three, because this is something that you keep coming across in your ICU rotation. Then metabolic acidosis, sodium and potassium disturbances. Last time I don't think there was an approach to hypo or a hyper sodium potassium, so more chances of such a question being asked this time around. So go through that. Pain management, procedural sedation, drowning and lightning may be asked but less likely. Brain death important. Okay, how to pronounce brain death, criteria for brain death, so those sort of questions can be asked. Syncope and approach to syncope can be asked. CVS wise, it's more of approach, diagnostics and treatment, alright, and physiology of course. So acute rheumatic fever, diagnosis and treatment. Similarly, infective endocarditis also diagnosis and treatment. CCF, SVT. In arrhythmias, read everything about SVT, because SVT anytime it can be asked. Timing of intervention in congenital heart disease was a separate position paper in one of the Indian pediatrics. So go through that. Indian pediatrics, not IJP, it's Indian pediatrics. Then critical congenital heart disease in newborn, including screening, that can be asked. Approach to acyanotic and cyanotic congenital heart disease, fetal circulation, this is a repeat question. Cardiac cath, repeat question. Cyanotic spell will be a repeat question. PDA will be a repeat question. Myocarditis and pediatric hypertension. Approach to hypertension can be asked, or they can specifically ask for renovascular hypertension, because that was review article that was discussed in Indian Pediatrics. Neonatology wise, see, top to bottom anything can be asked in neonatology basically. Alright, your 25% of question paper constitutes of neonatology, boss. So anything can be asked, anything and everything can be asked, but please make sure you know at least these things, COVID-19, how are you going to manage in a resuscitation setting in your delivery room, ROP and hearing screen, developmentally supportive care, umbilical cord banking, human milk banking, CPAP, HHFNC, then total parental nutrition. Total parental nutrition is discussed in this January 2021 Indian Pediatrics. Go through that. Then therapeutic enteral formula. It's not formula feeding, it's therapeutic enteral formula. That's a very beautiful review article in Indian Pediatrics, April 2020. Then delayed cord clamping, advantages, disadvantages, preterm, term. So that can be asked. Then sudden unexpected death following epilepsy. So that can be asked. Again, this should have come in neurology, but yeah, bear with me. Then follow up in high risk infant, transport. These are questions you will know, but make a note of what needs to be written in a Q&A format, question and answer format. Alright, you will be following up these patients, you will be transporting babies from one center to another, or you will be receiving babies who have been transported from other center, and you would have thought, oh no, this could have gone better during transport. All of those are fine, but when you are writing in a theory, you should have these answers already organized. Alright, if only you have thought about what to write, you will actually be able to write during exams. So that is the reason I am listing out these questions, because these are something you will know to handle but not know enough to write. Both are different. Then hypoxic ischemic encephalopathy, top to bottom you should know everything. Pathophysiology, presentation, management, therapeutic hypothermia and amplitude integrated EEG. Then apnea of prematurity, meconium aspiration, PPHN, respiratory distress syndrome. Alright, respiratory distress syndrome, again everything can be asked. Pathophysiology, presentation, all of them can be asked. Diaphragmatic hernia, full neonatal hematology. Don't miss anything in neonatal hematology, because on and off it keeps repeating in different ways. Alright, how do you transfuse, approach to a neonatal thrombocytopenia, approach to a neonatal anemia. Alright, so in different ways it keeps repeating, so please go through that. Hypoglycemia, hypocalcemia and metabolic disorder you should not miss, and infection prevention control is important in both neonatology and your critical care. Alright, so IPC, infection prevention control, sepsis prevention bundles can be asked, a central line associated bloodstream infection prevention protocol can be asked. So that could be common for both. Metabolic disorder wise, common question is your approach to IEM, your newborn screening. Apart from that, specific disorders, read the classical disorders. Rare questions are going to be rare, but you should know what you see commonly. Phenylketonuria, urea cycle defect, your mucopolysaccharidosis, galactosemia, von Giex disease, Pompey's, acute intermittent porphyria. Keep these two lower down the list, read everything else thoroughly. Alright, last come to your MPS and AIP. Then respiratory system, again it is very vast. Alright, very vast. So give importance to approaches in respiratory system wise and your investigations. Your where did I write the pulmonary function test? I definitely remember writing a pulmonary function test, maybe in the not otherwise specified group. Alright, so investigations wise, pulmonary function test is important. How do you differentiate between obstructive and restrictive diseases? That keeps repeating. Your asthma management. Asthma management is updated frequently. Every year it keeps updating. So I would suggest you read one guideline. If you are sticking to your Indian guidelines, stick to Indian guidelines. If you are sticking to GINA guidelines, stick to GINA guidelines. Read one thoroughly and completely. Don't do piecemeal reading from here and there and get confused during exam. Read one well. Alright. Apart from that, read approaches to recurrent wheeze, recurrent or persistent pneumonia, approach to stridor, approach to recurrent aspiration. A child coming to you with bronchiectasis, how are you going to work up? Then sudden infant death syndrome, BRUE can be asked. Let me see who is going to give me the expansion of BRUE. Alright. So, one virtual chocolate I will give them. Bronchiolitis and croup. So, these questions you should be thorough in respiratory system. Cancer wise, as we already discussed, acute lymphoblastic leukemia and CML important. Solid malignancies wise, Wilms neuroblastoma, Ewing sarcoma, read. This time somehow I don't know. Okay, so read Ewing sarcoma. There were a few papers in Indian pediatrics, so chances of it getting inside your question paper is more. Nephrology wise, urinary tract infection, VUR, AKI, renal replacement therapy, approach to hematuria, approach to proteinuria, acute glomerulonephritis, posterior reversible encephalopathy syndrome. Role of genetic testing in kidney disease. This was something that caught my mind, caught my eye rather, in Indian Journal of Pediatrics, September 2020. So, this can be asked, and if it is asked, only if you read something you will be able to answer. Otherwise, it is going to be difficult to recall and answer. That is the reason I have put it up here. Renal tubular acidosis, fine. Nephrolithiasis, again read it up. This has a chance of coming here. Renovascular hypertension, similarly. Biopsy important. Liver biopsy, renal biopsy, read both and keep. And bone marrow biopsy also. Alright. So, procedures like your intraosseous route, liver biopsy, renal biopsy, then what other procedures do you do? Central lines, intubation. These are all things that you do, but know enough to write also. Renal transplant may be asked. Gastroenterology, again it is a very vast topic, but I have tried to concise. These three things, no? Please make sure you read cystic fibrosis, celiac disease and pediatric inflammatory bowel disease, because somehow one or the other every year it keeps getting asked, and they are keeping on asking in more and more obscure areas. Alright, not the standard sort of questions. I think you guys understand what I mean. You know celiac disease, but you will not be answer the question that's being asked in celiac disease. Alright, so read thoroughly about these three topics. Liver biopsy, yes. Then congenital disorders, obstructive disorders like your hypertrophic pyloric stenosis, Hirschsprung, intersusception. These are all things that's standard sort of questions. If it comes, then I will be happy if I am writing the exam. Then esophageal reflux disease, approach to a persistent or a chronic diarrhea is important. Please read up. Approach to neonatal cholestasis, similarly read that up. Then rest of the questions is liver abscess, approach to ascites. How do you treat the patient with HBsAg positive mother? Frankly, I included this question because I did not end up with the number 13. I know it's superstitious, but that's how I am. Infection wise, I would suggest don't spend too much time on infectious diseases, even though it's a vast topic, because the proportion of the size of the subject to the number of questions is very disproportionate. So, read the important ones. Rest, if something is being asked, you will be able to answer because you would have seen those cases. Febrile neutropenia, approach to a febrile child. This was a guideline, IAP guideline. So, go through that. Microbiome, this is something that is coming up in a big way. So, gut microbiome can be asked, or microbiome in general can be asked. Approach to a fever without focus, or a baby with an unconsolable cry. Anna, inna. Somebody who is not able to console the cry of the baby. So, let us keep it like that. Infection, specific infections wise, diphtheria, rickettsia, enteric fever, mycoplasma and varicella. So, these 5 read thoroughly. Rheumatology wise, juvenile idiopathic arthritis, reactive arthritis, SLE because latest SLIC criteria has come up, Kawasaki because it's in combination with your MIS-C. One of the manifestations of MIS-C can be Kawasaki like presentation. So, I have included that. Plus, there is a Indian position paper also. Yeah, now that I think about it, there is an Indian position paper on Kawasaki management update. So, yes, Kawasaki important pa? Go through that. So, these are all system wise. Most of it I have covered. Some not otherwise specified. I missed endocrinology. right? So endocrinology, puberty, delayed precocious, male, female, both you should read. Physiology of puberty you should read, because among these 5 questions one can definitely come. Approach to a ambiguous genitalia or a disorder of sexual differentiation may be asked. Short stature, congenital hypothyroidism, everything in and out you should know, because anything can be asked. Sick day in a type 1 diabetes mellitus, insulin management, congenital adrenal hyperplasia can be asked. Then not otherwise specified are random topics that I felt like can be asked. Antibiotic stewardship, healthcare transition. Healthcare transition is where an adolescent goes into an adult practitioner. Adolescent with a chronic disease who has been followed up by a pediatrician for so long gets transitioned to an adult physician care. So that is healthcare transition. That's discussed about in June 2020 IJP. Go through that. Probiotics. And then PID is not pelvic inflammatory disease, it's primary immunodeficiency disorder approach. Syndromes, Turner's, Downs, Klinefelter's, they can ask about diagnosis, especially prenatal diagnosis and counseling. Genetic diagnosis, pedigree chart, then modes of transmission of a genetic disorder. So these are the questions in genetics. Genetic diagnosis, I mean, genomic sequencing, whole genome sequencing, exome sequencing, FISH analysis, then what else? So there are multiple different types of diagnostic modalities for genetics, right? So that can be asked in any way. JIA we already discussed. Screen time, please read up about screen time. That can be asked. Junk food can be asked. Again, who is going to tell me the expansion of JUNCS? Let me see. So they will get another virtual chocolate. Insulin management, pulmonary function test. See, here I have written pulmonary function test. Antisense oligonucleotides, please read. Alright, antisense oligonucleotides in Indian Pediatrics, February 2020. There is a small article on antisense oligonucleotides. Very important, can be asked. Bioethics, therapeutic enteral formula we discussed, ALL we discussed, genomic testing we discussed. If you want to read about genomic testing, yes, in June 2020 Indian Pediatrics has this. Go ahead and read that. Cow's milk protein allergy, read. Simulation, IVIG, fine. NTEP, December 2020 Indian Pediatrics has a nice article on National Tuberculosis Elimination Program. You can also listen to these nice lectures in IAP, Thiruvananthapuram or Kozhikode, I am not sure, but they have discussed it in 2 parts. Alright, they have discussed from top to bottom what are the changes in the National Tuberculosis Elimination Program. You can read about that. Give importance to the diagnostics part, because that is where major changes are present. And treatment, yes, of course, but that's only a few points, not much. Diagnostics, very important. Latent tuberculosis, IGRA, all of those things can be asked. And polycystic ovarian disease. I think that's it. I have covered most of the important questions. Hope you get any questions from this exhaustive list. So let's see, let's hope for the best. All the best to you guys. Plan your work your plan. That's what I would say. Even though the subject seems vast, it looks, so huge when you actually start analyzing it. Take a step back, take a deep breath, put a solid plan in place, whichever works for you. Does not matter if you don't cover everything, but what you read it thoroughly. It does not help you if you read just for the sake of reading. Alright, so read it well. If you want to remember just 5 points, remember those 5 points well. No point in reading 3 to 4 paragraphs but not remembering anything out of the 3 to 4 paragraph. The clinching points you should always try to recall. Recall and read, that is the key. Recall, revise and read again and again. That's what's going to help you. And all the best for your exams. If you have any doubts, you are always free to reach me on Telegram group. I will get to your questions or requests as soon as I can. Thank you and bye-bye.